Here's some of my tips for young authors. I'm going to go ahead and start this video off by saying, 1, I'm a young author. I know that I don't have the world's most amount of experience, but I've also been in your shoes before. Whether you are doing this for yourself, whether you're doing this to be able to give tips for someone else. I've been there. I've done that. I started writing books when I was 17. I published my first one I was 17, but my birthday was like 2 months later, so I had one book published by the time I was 18. Then within this last year, I've published 8 books. So I've got a little bit of experience. So let me bestow that upon you. So my 3 tips would be, 1, start writing. Now that sounds pretty straightforward, but let me tell you, whenever you've never written anything other than a school paper, writing a book, or even writing a blog post is much different than what you're writing for school. So get an idea out of your brain, get it on paper, whether you're writing it down in a journal, whether you're writing it down on your computer. I prefer computer just because it's easier for me to store it and go back into it. I don't have to worry about it crashing as much. You know, I put it on my Google Drive and I do most of my stuff through there, though there are other writing platforms that you can look into, but I don't really care that much, so it works for me. But start writing. There's something called free writing where it basically means that you are just writing to get stuff from your brain onto the page. It doesn't have to have any punctuation. It doesn't have to have any, it literally can just be your thought process. And so I would say start by free writing, see what comes out, and go from there. Next. Now this is the hard part. Don't get discouraged. Bless you, Bear. My dog decided to sneeze. Don't get discouraged. You're going to have people in your life and also yourself telling you, I don't know if that will actually turn out to be anything. You know what? I don't even know if it will turn out to be anything. 90% of my books, I have no idea if I'm going to take them and put them into an actual book and finish writing and formatting and publishing and doing all that stuff. But you know what? I have never regretted starting writing a book. I have regretted not finishing a book though. And so if you are starting to write something, just give it a chance. Follow through with it. You know, if you decide that you don't want to work on this project, start another one. Just see if you get a little better. I did 2 failed book attempts, got about halfway through them, and decided, maybe I'll come back to them. But I just left them there. Then I found an idea that I liked, and it worked. You know, people see the 9 books that I've written and think, oh, well, those probably were the only 9 books that she thought about. No, I have an entire line of sticky notes laying on my dry erase board right next to me, and I can tell you that half of them I've started on, the other half I haven't even, and then beyond that I have a bunch of ideas in my head that I have not even put on paper. And so it does not have to be perfect, and you don't have to worry about what other people say or what you even want to tell yourself sometimes. Look for encouragement where you can find it. I encourage you to look towards the Bible. Our creativity comes from the Lord. I can only thank Him for what comes out of my brain, because 90%, if I did it by myself, 90% of the books I'd write would make literally no sense. My brain is, and so if you can find yourself rooted in the Bible, in the Lord, in the friends and family you have around you, that is amazing. And so try to find a good group, maybe even try to find a writer's group. Find somewhere you can get plugged in and have encouragement. Number 3. Now this is the last one, and let me tell you, it is probably the most important, mostly just for my young authors. I mean, you can be older, but this is really going to apply to you. Now all those other things, those could be for any author ever. You know, like that's just general advice I give to any author. Old, young, in between. Don't let people look down on you because you are young. I have never once saw someone who was older and thought, wow, I can't believe they did that because they're older. No. Like, unless you're like skydiving at 90 years old, usually it's not that, you know, it's not that astounding, but you can just expect that people who are older have experience and they can do all these things. But a lot of people didn't do things whenever they were younger because they were afraid of, 1, what people would say, and also because there were so many people in their lives that said, you can't do that because you're too young. I have met through TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, all these different young authors, and it has been so amazing to have them encourage me, for me to encourage them, and to help each other move on with this journey. But beyond that, the amount of people who I've seen who have looked to me and been like, wow, I feel like I can actually write a book now because, you are saying that. Because whenever you start doing something that other people don't think is possible, then you're going to encourage other people to step out. Whether it's stepping out in faith, whether it's just stepping out thinking, wow, I could actually take this idea from my head and turn it into something, a full-fledged book that I can hold. You know, I've gotten to the point where if I hold all my books together, it is actually hard to do. And I hope that same thing for you. I hope that you can get these ideas that have been going through your head out and onto paper and into a printed book, and I would be happy to help you any way I can. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so then you can get the encouragement you need, and just don't let anybody look down on you because you're young. You've got this.